What's up, everybody? Welcome to Purple Pod. We got a special interview today with TripAdvisor. What's going on, bro?
TripAdvisor.
Yeah, I mean, Trip Advice, Trip
No,
Advice.
it's cool, man. A lot of people have said that before.
Because that damn company they copied you actually.
Exactly.
They
TripAdvice was first.
those assholes. But yeah, now welcome everybody. Make sure to like the video on y'all's way in and subscribe. Go follow our Clips channel, Purple Pod Clips, also, and follow us on our podcast Instagram. We're now live to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Rumble and YouTube all at the same time. Go sign up for my new coaching. Also, link below if you want my personal help with dating. And our new Patreon is also up if you want to see some girls getting kicked out. Or you can join the YouTube channel. Just click the join button right there. You'll get some cool emojis. Also, new shirts out. So check out the merch store. And we're now streaming on all audio platforms as well, guys. Make sure to add the Instagram right now. If y'all want to go add Trip, he's already tagged. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, bro, and then and tell them your tag so they can all come find you also.
Cool, yeah. I'm Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. And if you're watching this, everything is tagged as TripAdvice. So if you want to check out my YouTube channel, TripAdvice, Twitter, TripAdvice, Rumble, TripAdvice, Facebook, TripAdvice. Although, are people still using Facebook?
It's only old people, right? But honestly, like, do you actually use Facebook for your marketing at all, or do you not really try to find people on there?
A little bit. We actually advertise on Facebook.
Okay,
yeah.
so there is still people on there.
And I have a private Facebook group. It's called Trip's Corner, and you can join that if you end up doing coaching or if you end up into getting one of my courses. And so I use Facebook for the Facebook group mainly.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 2,000 guys in there. We're always chatting and.
Oh, it's a ton of guys to get advice from too, or to relay plays off of and stuff. But when it comes to Facebook, do you think that, or the different platforms, which one do you think you get most of your clients actually from?
I would say YouTube
YouTube
and my podcast.
YouTube and your podcast,
which is funny because a lot of people have YouTube channels that also are their podcast. Mine's separated, so I have a podcast called How to Talk to Girls. It's still TripAdvice, but it's separate. Like I'll create podcasts that don't go on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And then I'll do obviously a lot of YouTube videos that don't end up on the podcast. Sometimes I'll take some audio from a YouTube video.
And those are for like your members though?
No, the podcast is everywhere. It's like on Spotify.
Okay. So yeah, everybody, y'all can
Apple
find
and all that. Yeah. So I have a lot of stuff. It's been a long time just building a lot of media talking about dating, relationships.
Yeah, I saw you've been doing this for like a decade now, man. You're actually been one of my biggest inspirations since I started everything because there's not any really good dating coaches online, or at least from what I'm seeing, there's just not. Like I watch you. No, I only watch you, man, because whenever I think about it and I look at all the other people, like I'm a lot in the red pill space, these guys just aren't teaching guys how to get girls really, or like how to get really good relationships and stuff. And you're one of those few guys that's like, you really care about helping these guys like get in a good relationship, not with a bad girl either, with a good one that's like has genuine desire for them, and like you teach them not to chase and stuff. Like there's very few coaches that I feel like that are doing it right, and they're not just pickup artists and teaching corny stuff that's like pickup game and stuff. So like I really appreciate everything that I learned from you because it's helping me like teach my people.
Yeah, man, that's great. I mean, it's interesting because in the red pill manosphere and all that stuff, you kind of are. You're learning some things as a byproduct in terms of how women work, but it's not really direct practical advice of how to meet women, right? Yeah. So that's what kind of separates me from that conversation. Although there's a lot of other dating coaches who do also teach that stuff.
It's like what Rolo talks about a lot. Actually, sometimes they always try to say that they're not giving prescriptions. They're
right.
It's just a praxeology.
I'm giving prescriptions.
Yeah, you're giving prescriptions.
I'm literally saying, do this. This is what you do.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about it too. And it kind of bothers me sometimes because every red pill person kind of says the praxeology thing, usually at one point or another in their lifetime. Yeah. But if we go to their pages or something, you might see that they're selling a course, which is their prescription on something, Yes. So like, I think it's very ironic sometimes when people talk about that. And my thing is, I just want the best prescription. That's why I look to you, because you usually have some of the best prescriptions. And it's just like, this is what every guy should be doing. We all really want relationships at the end of the day. Like, I think everybody's lying and coping if they say they don't. So it's just like they need this type of advice. Like they need you, and they need people like me to teach them how to have good relationships. I kind of want to like peel a layer back though, and like know how this all started for you. Like, where did you even begin with wanting to be a dating coach? How was your dating life when you were younger? Are you the type of person where you really relate to like all these guys that you're helping because you kind of struggled too, or what?
Yeah, I mean, totally. I say that the guys that I work with and that get coached by me, or the coaches that work for TripAdvice, are it was me. Like, I'm coaching myself, right? That was the whole thing. Is I was a guy just like the guys who seek out help, nervous to talk to women, didn't really know how to get dates with women that I was really attracted to, super shy around women that I didn't know, and really just having a lot of struggles with, self-esteem and confidence, and thinking, okay, in order to get an attractive woman, or a woman that I'm attracted to, I have to be super good looking, super muscular, super athletic, like famous, rich status, all those things. That's just what I thought, and that was ingrained in me. So I never thought I had a shot until, I would say, in the late, aughts, 2008, 2009, there was a lot of information online about picking up women, right? That was just like huge. That was like before Red Pill, right?
Yeah.
The popular stuff in the dating realm was, how do you pick up women, use these techniques, use these lines. And so that was very intriguing to me, which it was for most guys who were single, and learned about that. And so I devoured a lot of that information. I didn't really connect with a lot of it. It was very weird, manipulative, kind of creepy at times. Like, a lot of it was really just teaching you how to lie to women. Like, they would literally have scripts that you could just read that would be creepy, and you would lie to women. And I just couldn't connect with any of that. So what I did is, even though I devoured all this information, I would go out and just learn how to talk to women. And I just did it all by myself. And I did it also sober. So I wanted to go out. And by the way, this is when online dating wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. So no one was swiping. No one had apps. It was kind of borderline weird if you were meeting people online. It was just becoming popular, but I wasn't utilizing online because it wasn't really working for me. So I forced myself to go out and talk to women. And from there, I started to learn how to get over my shyness, what women responded to. And once I started to get a grasp on it, that's when I became interested in sharing the information, and not in terms of forming a business, but just like talking to other friends who were learning this stuff. Or, I was in my 20s, like, all your friends are single at this point.
Yeah, you're all struggling.
Right. You're all kind of struggling or learning or whatever.
Sharing cheat
Yeah,
codes.
exactly. So I had a friend who we were sharing the cheat codes, and he goes, dude, we should start a podcast. And I was like, okay, I knew what podcasts were, but I was like, I don't want to go on a podcast and share this information. And he said, no, we'll be fun. Like, just write a script. We'll do it. I have a whole setup. I said, okay, cool. So let's do it. So this is now 2009. And we did the podcast. It was called Dudes Talking About Chicks. So it was interesting too, because I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think I can safely say it might have been the first internet live show about dating and meeting women, because we did it live. We did a podcast. We didn't stream video. We just did live audio. So it was a live audio
That's crazy
podcast.
back then, though.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's like doing your own radio show, but online.
Yeah, completely. That's what the podcasts were. But it was interesting that we had that live factor. Like, after episode 10, he's like, yeah, let's go live. And I'm like, all right, cool. So at that point, I started to become more comfortable. I was like getting my bachelor's degree in teaching dating to other people, and feeling comfortable getting other guys results. So I started to do that. We did about 40 episodes. And around episode 30, I started TripAdvice, because that was it for me. I was obsessed with all this stuff. I wanted to help guys. I wanted to make it my mission to do this. And so I started TripAdvice. Episode 40, my partner who I had the podcast with, he left, he moved, he started another business. And so that's when I started my YouTube channel, TripAdvice. And that was what took everything off the ground. And that's the long story short.
Yeah, is that like, now you're at 1 million? I saw you just got your 1 million plaque the other day, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
It sounds like one of the coolest achievements when it comes to YouTube. Like, there's very few things that are like amazing achievements, but that's the one. That's the one that everybody's shooting for, you know?
Oh, I was thinking about the 1 million subscriber plaque, and just getting 1 million subscribers for years.
Yeah.
I mean, years, because I didn't know if I would get to that point. Who knows? But once I hit 100,000, that was the start of, okay, I'm on that path. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And just years and years later, and thousands of videos later, It was
And,
it
and
was a
you
lot of work, but
and
it's
YouTube has
awesome.
changed a lot within that decade.
Oh,
So like you
it's
have you kind
Google
of had to do
constantly.
have you had to do all different trends kind of in Google to try to keep with it like growing, or did you always try to stick to you and who you are and like not try to copy other people's styles and stuff, or did you or what did you kind of do to keep with it for 10 years like that?
Well, mainly I was doing my own style, and I still do. Videos where I'm just teaching you direct dating advice and
Mhm.
talking to the viewer and all that. But definitely over the years, I would follow the market trend, right? So for example, in the past 2 years, red pill manosphere kind of talk has been a big thing. So
Mhm.
I've done a few videos on that. So I'll sprinkle in some videos depending on what's popular. So another example is in 2017 and 2018, vlogging was really big, right?
Mhm.
Casey Neistat was blowing up, and Logan Paul was blowing up because they were doing vlogging. So I was like, okay, let me do vlogging. So for 3 months, I did a daily vlog, right? So I don't do that really anymore. Although, funny enough, I am filming a vlog this weekend,
Yeah.
but I do it once in a while. And so like I'll go with the trend a little bit and sprinkle in some videos depending on what people want to watch.
But
Because
you got to staying with
well, yeah,
staying with the
what's the point,
trends.
right? It's like I want to make videos that people like and enjoy, but of course, it's always going to be in the vein of trip advice
Mhm.
and what I'm teaching. I don't really go too much off the topic of dating and
Of day,
relationships
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah, you don't go down the rabbit hole of all the red pill garbage sometimes. But so I wanted to know, is this something that like you plan on doing for the rest? Like, do you have a game plan to do this for the next 10 years, 20 years? Like, do you always want to be a dating coach? Like, what's your plan? Like, your long term plan with this?
I mean, I have no. We'll put it this way: I have zero plans to do anything else.
Yeah,
So we'll start there.
yeah.
I love doing this every day. I kid you not, Monday is my favorite day of the week. I love waking up on Mondays and getting to work and tackling all, just building everything, because it's interesting. I've done it for so many years, and I have hit some great milestones, the million subscriber plaque and uh, six-figure numbers on other social media platforms, and it's been great. But I still want to keep building. Like the fire in me every year just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So as far as I'm concerned, I will be doing this for at least another 10 years, hopefully more. I'm already building I have built a coaching team underneath me. So it's not just me who's coaching, but I have other coaches who are teaching the Trip Advice method.
Hmm.
And now we're able to handle at scale as many clients as we can to come in and learn this stuff. So yeah, this is my bread and butter right here.
You're on your purpose, and you're gonna keep going with it. Yeah,
100%.
it's never gonna stop.
Yeah.
I noticed that you had Andrew Tate on at one point, bro. Which shout out to Andrew Tate, just got released, guys, which
Yeah,
is
it's crazy,
pretty
right?
incredible. I was arguing his points and his side for so long now, having so many people call me all kinds of names, to know that he's gonna get released, and also it's probably gonna end up good for him. It feels good because like a lot of people were giving us hell for that shit, so it feels really good to be on the right side, hopefully, of history in that aspect. But what did you think about that interview with him? Like, what's something that you learned from him, or something that you really like about Andrew?
Yeah, well, I'll say this much. He was so I did the interview. This was back in 2020. So this is maybe a couple months into pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard about him because I saw some videos of him and I watched some of his stuff and I was like, whoa, this guy's really intense.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what to expect when I was going to interview him. But when he came on and we were just chatting before we went live, nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
So he was super nice, not exactly like who you might see in all those videos. He was very polite and very grateful to do the interview and all that. And so that kind of shocked me at first because I just didn't know what I was up against or who I was dealing with. And it's funny, I actually just rewatched maybe like the first 20 minutes of the interview just because I haven't watched it in years. So I don't remember everything we talked about, but the first 20 minutes are great. It was gold. I was like, oh yeah, we talked about that. And Andrew said some good things there. And one of the things I remember from the episode that I liked so much that I've now extracted from that video and I'm starting to talk about it more is women being attracted to two things. One, ambition. So this is what Andrew Tate says and what we were talking about. One, ambition, and two, she can't be bored, right? So you have to spike emotions when you're with her. And a
Mm-hmm.
woman who's bored is going to be bored of you and won't be able to be attracted. So, but yeah, it was a great interview, and it's now that video is almost at a million views, which is
Oh.
crazy because if you go into the analytics, there's an obvious spike in the views, once Andrew Tate started getting big, and now, I mean, there's comments on there every single day. And
People just want to see everything, every piece of footage of him,
yeah,
especially from the last 2-3 years. And you're
yeah,
just one of the many people that has footage with him for the last 2 or 3 years.
I know it's
That's,
it's crazy.
so like what? So back to kind of what he told you there. How did how do you want to teach people to spark that emotion in the women like that to be able to do like what he was saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like anti-nice guy stuff,
Yep.
right? So if you're talking to a woman and you're always agreeable and you don't say anything polarizing, or you're just being super nice and accommodating to everything that's happening in the interaction, and you're overly chivalrous, those things are so commonplace that women see that and it doesn't do anything.
It's
Right?
boring.
It's boring. It's like, I like to say it's like white noise, right? You know what white noise is? It's like white noise is happening in the background. You don't notice it. So
Yeah.
it's the same idea as if you're doing actions like that are just white noise. And when you're talking to her, we can go even granular and so you're talking to her and you're very monotone and there's no expression in your voice, and you're just a person who's just kind of eking their way through life, and you have no real ambition, right? You're not doing anything. There's no passion. There's no purpose. It's white noise. You're boring. You're not going to be able to spark any kind of emotions, and you're not going to be able to build that attraction.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the stuff that I talk about and preach, and my courses, my YouTube videos, and all that stuff.
Is it so whenever these guys, or when you do the coaching, do you kind of let them ask you the questions, or like you'll just be like, what are you struggling with, and then exactly what prescription they give? Or is it more like, you need to do this, 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 like kind of like a bunch of tasks that they kind of
Yeah.
need to complete, before they can even get through the door, I guess you could say.
So basically, the trip advice method is we have the prescription, right? There's like a general prescription, so to speak, of what a guy needs to do to be able to meet more women, attract more women. Every guy, though, is just a little bit different. And so we then take the prescription and we customize it to the person. So, for example, a lot of guys do have anxiety or approach anxiety or shyness,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's guys who don't. So we're going to work more. We're going to work with the shy guys on something a little bit more different than we might with the guy who's super confident and go and talk to any woman he wants, right? We might have guys who can get first dates no problem, but they don't know how to get a second date. So, okay, we got to maneuver a little bit there and work with that. And then, of course, we have another subset of guys who can't even get the first date. So we got to work on that.
Just
But
getting the first date. Yeah.
yeah, so I guess like every guy is in, 2 to 4 different places on this spectrum of success with women in dating. And so we meet them where they're at, and then we tackle it from there. So if you're a guy who is a virgin, who's never even went on a date with a girl, who's never touched a girl, who's ever, I don't know, seen a girl, we will help you if you're a super beginner. We also work with guys who are more advanced, where they come to us, they say, I'm really successful. I do really well. I make a lot of money. I have confidence and self-esteem. I feel deserving of a woman, but I just really can't get them. My online dating profile isn't portraying that. When I'm with the woman on the date, it's not portraying that. So what do I do? And then we'll even work with guys who are divorced, who are dads, all the way up to ages 70 years old. So anywhere from like 18 to 70 years old, you have an issue with women, we'll tackle it and get you better.
It's crazy how like there's people that are up to those ages that are still having. I hope you don't have struggles. Once you get so old, like I hope you figure out how women are at a certain point. But
Well, you know what? You might have been married for 30 years,
oh yeah, true. And then you
right?
have no idea except for only one woman, like your wife or your
Yeah, you
ex-wife.
go,
Yeah.
you're like, what is this dating app? Like, how do I, like, I literally had to tell guys like how to download the dating app
Oh
and
my
which apps,
goodness.
because they don't know. They've been married since high school sweethearts. You've slept with maybe one woman in your entire life. Now all of a sudden you're single. It's 3 decades or 2 decades or a decade later, and you're asking yourself, what do I do? What am I supposed to do now? So that's where we come in.
Do you think there's a social calibration issue today? Like guys that like there's something that I've noticed that I think a lot of guys under 25 aren't being socialized enough. Like they're just not spending enough
Hundred
time with
percent,
just people. Period. Kind
hundred
of.
percent.
Yeah. And they just don't, and they just lack like the ability to like read facial expressions and stuff like correctly.
It's scary because now everything is online, right? So we're socializing online, but let's be honest, that's not real socializing.
Yeah.
You're just typing and looking at a screen.
Yeah, you can't see their facial expressions.
Yeah, you can't see their facial expressions. And more so if we just start from the ground up, you're not having any experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going out, you're not talking to women. You are texting all day. I mean, let's be honest. I'm guilty of this too. How much are we really like calling our friends on the phone? Yeah. How much are we on the phone? We're texting. I'm in like 5 or 6 different text groups, and it's great. I get to keep in touch with people, but we've fallen into that. So now we really talk on the phone to really see people. And if you're not doing that to start, if you're let's say, you're a lot younger and you're growing up with social media, you're growing up with communication over a screen, and now you're 28 years old, you don't have much experience with dating, there's a lot of work to be done to undo all the things that you need to do to learn how to socialize, and you're 28 years old.
Yeah.
It's just sad. I mean, I don't want to play victim here. It's like, but it just happens. Like we have no control over it. We're born into this world where everything is on a screen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that's your environment's your destiny is what I always say, So if you put, people in an environment where the mom and the dad have to work all the time and the only thing that's raising the kids is the iPads and the video games and stuff, how can you blame the kids for ending up in this situation? It's the environment that kind of pushed them into it.
Well, or you could be a parent that really pushes that, you know. I didn't have to have that when I was a kid.
Yeah, we just met at the little green thingy in the neighborhood. The big green electric box.
Yeah, I remember I was 6 years old. I remember it was like one of my earliest memories. I was 6 years old. I was biking and meeting, neighbors and friends and things like that. And
we don't see it today.
I mean, not that I know of. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just not as much. So
I'm guessing not as much because it's so easy to be on the screen. Before you had your computer, but how much could you in the 90s? How much could you do? A little AOL messaging. And I don't know. You look up some websites.
Yeah, just aim.
Maybe a video game, but
it's the path of least resistance. And like as humans as we are, like we're definitely very animalistic. Sometimes it's like we're gonna take the path of least resistance, which is sitting on our couch and eating Cheetos and messaging the girls that way because it's easier. Or sitting on Instagram and looking at girls on there watching pornography. It's all the path of least resistance. It's all easiest. And we're always going to take the easiest route. One of the big things that I preach on my show, though, and like I get a lot of flack for this, is I'm heavily against online dating.
Interesting.
I've never done it. I did it very sparingly, like a little bit, but I've never taken a relationship serious from it. I got 4 sisters though, and 2 of them have amazing relationships that came from online dating. So I know there's benefits to it. Because my sisters are very good girls and stuff. So I think that they found really good men. So I think that there's very good things to it, but they're also older. They're like my generation, like in 30s. But for the 25 and under, it scares me. I just want them to get off the dating apps and go meet people in real life. And like one of the big things I preach is like going to political events, go to charity events, go to networking events. That's something that we try to take the girls that come on the show here a lot. Like we try to take them to those things because guys are on their purpose usually at those events. I try to like the whole point of my coaching is kind of like I have a secret where I tell guys to go, and that's like my little secret that I like keep from everybody. But like nobody knows where to go in real life anymore. Like if your guys ask, they'd be like, where do we go? It's like, well, don't go to the bar and club because those girls are, sometimes they're not really like good relationship material sometimes.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I disagree with that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I would kind of agree probably. Yeah, go ahead and say why though.
Okay, so maybe a majority of those women are not going to be a relationship.
I'm sorry. Hey, babe, will you go downstairs really quick? Thank you.
Guess her.
Yeah. Nice. One of them's here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, nice. They're watching.
Yeah. He watched.
That's great. Okay. So, yeah, maybe I'm guessing a majority of the women at a bar or a club, I would say, is not going to be relationship material. But you have a girlfriend, right?
Yep.
Okay. You're in a relationship, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Has she ever gone to a club?
Yeah.
Even one time?
Yeah.
Can we maybe say safely she's gone 10 times?
I honestly don't know about that. She's not a club goer, but
she's been at least once.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so what if that night a guy who went out met her, or you met her that night? Mm-hmm. So point is that there are women who maybe are not club goers, but they go that one time or that 2 times a year
for their friends or something.
Yeah, or whatever, and that could be a girl that you
And
meet.
honestly, that's very true. I cannot express to you how many times I've like talked to girls or ended up like, in something with a girl, and she was only there because her friend was there, and
Yeah.
normally she never goes out.
Exactly.
You're 1,000%
so
right.
that's a girl that you could approach. But then, and let's even take it to bars. Like, so many women go to bars.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of women who are completely relationship material go to bars. I guarantee your girlfriend has gone to I'm sure she's over 21. She's probably gone to a bar 50 times in her life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible.
Yeah, and so like I really like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that people shouldn't go to those places, because yeah, it's still good, and it's also good to just go socialize. Like, I think that you should always practice flirting. That's something that I also sometimes get flack for. Like, I think that you should flirt with people that you don't have any intentions with, and the reason why is because I think it's good to practice socializing. Like, good to practice like saying something and like getting reactions and stuff, whether or not like you want anything to come out of it. Like, I also like to teach people to flirt with ugly girls, like flirt with the old lady at the grocery store, like flirt with everybody, and but then the girls you really like, don't flirt with them at all. Like, the really pretty girls, don't even flirt with them, because you're just gonna look corny and cheesy. But like, you're gonna have the social skills that whenever you do have a moment with them on a date or something like that, you're gonna know how to act.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, he couldn't find it. Okay.
And what's cool too is when you go to a club or you go to a bar, there's so many people there that you get the opportunity to practice, like you said. It's like you don't have to go to a club or a bar, but you can talk to 20 women easily in a night at a club or a bar. Mm-hmm. So, okay, maybe that girl's not going to be your wife one day.
But we need practice.
Yeah, you need
more
practice.
Now than ever, guys.
So there's lots of volume. You can get a lot of volume done at those places. So,
yeah.
So great places to do it. But I want to say something about what you said about online dating. So here's the deal. Online dating and in person, meeting women in person, it's just pros and cons to both, right? So what are the pros and cons to online? Online, pro. It's easy. You can get a dating profile set up pretty fast, and you can get a lot of volume.
It might be cheaper too, because you can plan date. Like, people are more likely to do the coffee date stuff and stuff like that sometimes, to just meet each other first or something. Do you think online dating might actually be cheaper in the end too sometimes?
Depends. I mean, if you're doing really well, if you're doing the stuff that I teach you and you're getting a lot of dates, I don't know if it's gonna be cheap.
It's gonna be a little.
Well, it depends how you spend your money, though.
And that's another thing that I have to teach guys all the time too. It's like, you can't be cheap and get these girls to respect you. Like, it's just not gonna happen in my head. Like, I don't know. That's just something that I personally believe and I teach. But like, I really don't think like asking girls to go half with you on dates or anything is going to get you anywhere.
No, you can't. You can't ask to go half, but you can do coffee dates.
Yeah,
which are totally reasonable.
I used to be so against coffee dates until I thought really hard about it, and if I was online dating and I wanted a low investment first meetup to make sure she wasn't catfishing me, I would definitely do the coffee date. But that's one of the big reasons why I don't like online dates, because a lot of people are catfishing. Like, they'll have picture on their profile that doesn't look like how they really look or something. Yeah, and that drives me crazy.
Yeah, there's some ways to go. Well, here's a little tip, right? If you're uncertain of what they look like, sometimes you know, all right, that's what they look like. If you don't know, do a FaceTime date as a first date, which, by the way, nowadays, totally reasonable, totally acceptable, and women will do it. And then you can do that. It's funny because I've had guys who have done that. They'll tell me, Trip, I still can't tell. I don't know. But it's like, all right, whatever. Was she cool? Yeah, just go on the date. She wasn't that attractive. All right, so you got a coffee. You had a drink.
It didn't cost you too much.
It was an hour. I don't know. You practice flirting. You practice, dating. It's fine.
I saw a picture the other day, because you posted your wife. Yeah, it was a really nice, like, pictures of everything, because I guess, was it y'all's anniversary or something, or no?
No.
Or you were just bragging about how awesome and happy like your wife was.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I wanted to know, like, how did you meet her though? Like, I kind of like saw a little bit of how it was in that story, but like, what are the details behind it? Like, how did you meet your wife and stuff?
Yeah, so I met her at how do I explain it? We were both working, okay? So I have a friend who runs a dance studio, and I wanted to do a video teaching guys how to dance for the YouTube channel.
Oh, genius.
And so, right, yeah. And so it was really cool too, because I was taking dance lessons with my friend, and she taught me, like, this is the proper way to twirl a girl. And when she taught me, I was like, oh, this is really good. And this is guys need to learn this. I was like, oh, let's do a video. She said, yeah, come by the studio next week. We'll film it. And so that day, her employee, which is now my wife, was there and she helped out on the video shoot. So we were both working. So we both met on the job, so to speak. And I thought she was cute. She was cool. I got her number. And then like the video came out a week later. I texted her with the video, asked her out, and then we went out.
Yeah, you just never know. And how long has that been now? How many years?
That was about 4.5 years ago.
4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
What's the typical like timeline you like to tell guys for like marriage, or like how does a guy know when it's time to get married? Like how are you supposed to know something like that? Like what do you think?
I'm really into the advice of living with somebody. You got to live with somebody
First.
Yes. That's how you're really going to know if you guys can have a partnership. You know, you guys spending, because it's basically, that is marriage.
Yes.
The only difference between living together and getting married is a certificate and a ring.
Yes.
Right. Otherwise, you're basically playing house. Now, we can get really deep in the woods here. You don't want to be doing that too fast, right? But once you guys do move in together, that's going to tell you if this woman is going to be somebody who you can actually marry and be with long term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then like, so this is something that like I already know I'm kind of wrong on this. Like I don't even like to give this as advice to people because it's not good advice. But like I usually move in pretty fast with people, and the reason why is because like what you said, I don't consider it a real relationship. Whenever I'm not sleeping next to somebody, like I don't know, there's something that makes it just more like actually real. I guess.
Well,
you could
how
say.
fast did you move in with your girlfriend?
2 or 3 months. Like,
oh
yeah.
Damn, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's really fast.
Yeah, but so
I would not recommend that.
Yeah. I don't, and also I don't recommend it to most people.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've had 5 serious relationships. I've lived with every one of the girls, and like so that's why it's just very normal to me.
Wow,
and,
you're the first person I've literally ever talked to who's matched the amount of relationships I've been in. I'm not kidding.
I'm not proud of it, but that's just my number.
Yeah, I don't know. It's neutral. I don't know if I'm proud of it, but it just is. I learned a lot though.
I will admit that I wasn't the best one in all of those, and I wasn't fully like the man that I should have always been, or like I wasn't always the best one. Like I mean, I ended some of them, and then the girls ended some of them. Like it was kind of like equal on both ends, but I learned a lot from them, and I really believe in learning from my failures, and I wouldn't take it back. Like I'm very happy for all my relationship struggles and everything that I learned from them. Like it was great things to learn.
And you get to learn how to be in a relationship. So then you can carry that over to the next relationship.
Yeah, I'm actually I have a really weird theory that I think that I get to be more myself, and I think people are more themselves in relationships. And a lot of people sometimes disagree with me on this, but the reason why I say this is because when I'm in a relationship, like you know how you have like the little voices, like the little jokes you have with your spouse, like you do little things that you would never let out to other people or like let other people see. You're more of your true self, and because of that, I've always fallen into like my creativity, and I think that a lot of my creativity comes from me being in relationships and being safe with being in my creativity, like being safe with expressing how I really feel about myself, no matter what other people think. Whenever I'm single, I'm constantly trying to do what other people like. I'm constantly trying to look how people want me to look, girls or men or whatever. Like I'm trying to, always impress other people because I'm trying to get in a relationship or I'm trying to get something, and, but when I'm in a relationship, I'm the opposite. I'm very extrovert. I'm very introvert. I'm very just to myself. Like I don't need any other approval from other people or anything. It's just me and my girl and against the world, But I'm the opposite of that. I'm an extrovert when I'm single. I'm outside. I'm partying. I'm doing the most all the time.
Yeah.
So like, I like myself in a relationship. So that's why I like being in relationships. I'm way more comfortable in them.
That's interesting. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It definitely is 2 different energies.
Yeah.
You have a different energy when you're single versus the energy when you're in a relationship. Completely. And you're doing different things. And I hear what you're saying too of like, yeah, you're kind of like in attraction mode. You're doing things to attract people to you. However, there's a fine line between what happens when you get into a relationship and you want to be yourself and be all comfortable versus, you're not trying as hard. But if you don't do that, you could lose the relationship.
True, yeah.
So you shouldn't be, and this is what happens. We get comfortable. We get into relationships.
Very true.
It's like, as guys, we got the girl. We're good. Look, we don't need to do anything anymore. Now we can slowly start being maybe the person who I wasn't when we were dating.
A little bit more of a beta. Can I do this?
A little bit more of a beta, right? Yeah. It's like you don't want to fall into that trap.
Yeah,
because I actually believe that one of the reasons why why divorces happen is because people fall into that trap. They get too comfortable. They don't try anymore.
Mhm.
And, that's why people say in relationships like, oh, how come you never do this like you used to do it? It's like, because you don't think you need to do it anymore because they're there. You're married. They're not going to divorce me. They love me. We're together. But it it
I
can slowly
Yeah.
fade.
I always say I'm very privileged in my relationship. Like I also like something that nobody likes to talk about online, but I ain't scared to fucking talk about it. Hey, baby, somebody else is here. Um, Here, you want to take my phone for just in case? But like I'm not scared to talk about like crying in relationships and stuff. Do I think 99% of guys should do it? Hell no. Hell no. But I think I have the privilege to do it because I earn more than most guys. I'm better at doing certain things. Like if you're a really good relationship guy, if you're just fucking incredible at relationships or you make a lot of money, if you're a really good provider, the women are just less likely to leave you over certain things because it's just like, well, he's still really good, or he's crying because of a relation or because of a family issue. You know, it's not because of money or anything like that. It's because of things that that he's dealing with that's been going on for most of his life or something.
Yeah.
You know, like there's, is that a privilege that I have that most guys don't? Yes. Like I think 99% of guys cannot do that. Like it will ruin their relationship. But I think once you like if you're a multimillionaire, I think you get a little bit more privilege than the other guys, and it's because you're the multi.
Well,
It's just like how like those guys can also have options or like exercise options sometimes. You know, like you just get more leverage the more money you have or the more good you
status.
are. Yeah, the more status or something. You know, but yeah, I really like being myself, and that's probably came with the fact that I've always had a little bit of status in the city, or I've always had a little bit more money than other people, and that's the only reason why I've been able to get advantages like that.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful with what kind of vulnerability it is that you're showing to your relationship. And it's interesting. I never really thought about that before, but that does make sense. If you are a person who has more status, you could get away with a little bit more in terms of, I don't know, messing up somewhere vulnerability, because
Yeah.
women are still going to be attracted to that status that you might have.
It's all about how many, how many of your stat bars are really up, you know, because like if it was like a video game, your stamina, your strength, you know, all that. Like if you got a lot of your stats up, it's really hard for a woman to leave you. It's just like I said, like the guys that like to have options, you know, it's like it's really hard for the women to leave sometimes when they got every stat bar all the way to the top. You know, I think it's the same for like almost everything when it comes to that. When you have a guy that has all those stats that high, it's really hard to leave him. Just because he cried about something from like 5 years ago with his father or something. You know, like it's not that big of a deal. Um, I want to know what do you think is the number one challenge you see guys chasing or play or going through right now with trying to get girls? Like, what do you the number one?
Probably online dating, I would say, because everyone is online, and that's the most common way to meet women. They're going online, they're setting up a profile, and they might even be a pretty decent looking dude, and then nothing happens. So they don't get any dates, they don't get any matches, and they're a total catch.
Yeah.
And so that's happening with a lot of guys. So I'd say that's probably the hardest thing right now is that. If you ask me like what was it 10 years ago, I would say, oh, it's really hard to approach a woman because it can be very scary, and it's not easy. That still is a problem today, but it's not the biggest problem because of all the online dating that we're doing.
Yeah, it's so sad. This is why I preach so hard against it. See, like whenever I first joined FNF Dallas, one of the big things I would argue against the guys that were online dating all the time was like, what's y'all's returns? Like 1 in 100, 1 in 10. Like how many girls are y'all actually getting from y'all's online stuff? And it's like, well, I could tell y'all right now, based on my social circle game, based off doing stuff in real life, I'm like 1 in 5. Like if I like, I'm very good, and the reason why is because it's like it's already a sealed deal before I even walk up to a girl. Like I already know based off if they looked at me or if they're friends with one of my friends or something. Like I can already know. Like I have a very high chance of like it working out because of how my game works. Like I don't like it going into a game where my numbers are 1 in 10 or 1 in 100. That's why I don't do online dating. I don't do anything like that because it's like I can get y'all way better numbers if y'all only do real life stuff. If y'all only build up a social circle of women and y'all and that pre-selection
Yeah.
kicks in and you look safe because of it. So many men just look unsafe today. So many. Like I talk to girls all the time on this panel. Most guys are invisible for multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons is you look unsafe. Like I don't like there's like the way they talk, the way they dress, everything about them just makes them look like somebody that could be a rapist or something, you know? So it's just like I think a lot of guys they just cut themselves out based off of how they dress, how they look. They can't talk in real life. They don't know how to just be normal, and like you were kind of saying, like how you're saying that it's just white noise when guys act normal. One of the big things I teach is do the opposite of what's normal. Friend zone the girl. Like make her into, like treat her like she's your best buddy, and she's gonna be like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, that's not what all these other guys, these 99 other guys have been doing. Why is this guy treating me like this? If
Or
anything,
if you're trying to attract or tease or disagree with them,
oh, dude,
be polarizing.
I've had girls that because I friend zoned them, they end up sleeping with me. Like, because I friend zoned you, it actually made you want me more. And so, like,
because they
you can't have it. You want what you can't have.
Yes, and you weren't showing any kind of desperation. You weren't trying too hard.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What? Why doesn't he like me?"
Yeah. That's why online dating really bothers me, because I can't play any of those games. There's none of those games that you can play online.
Yeah, there's only one game, and it's get that profile as best as you can.
Yeah.
But you need to be doing both.
Yeah. You need to spread your
you need to be doing both.
Spread your net.
Is you want to say spread your seed?
Yeah, I almost did. I almost did. You're right.
You need to be doing both, because that's the way you're going to get the most volume, right? If you are putting a great profile online and you're going out and meeting women and you're doing social circle, then you're going to have more options than you know what to do with. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. For these guys that just have, like you were saying, that you coach guys that have just social issues, that just have anxiety. Like, I think most of the guys under 25 are going to have like a lot of these mental health kind of issues. Like, how do you coach people out of things that are really embedded in their head, that like, I cannot talk to girls, I cannot be social, like this is not who I am? Like, how do you fix? Because I've tried to help some of these guys. It's just like, dude, you're so stuck in your mind. Like, I don't want to sit there and call them autistic or something like that, but it's like you're so stuck in this loop of what you think that I can't even help you right now.
Well, it first comes down to they have to want the help.
Yeah.
Right. I and my team, we don't try to convince people you need our help. People who need help, they come to us and they go, "Hey, I'm ready for help." So if you're not ready for help, or if you're in some forum and talking to guys who are like incels who are just bashing women or think it's never going to happen for them, self-fulfilling prophecy, it won't happen for them. It's like, nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Maybe you could, but that's a large hill to climb. So we work with people who say, all right, this is really hard. And even if maybe there's a part of them that says, I can't do it, they still want to do it. So if you want to do it, then we can help you, right? So then after that, it's just more mindset work, teaching them, okay, this is how this process actually should go with dating, because they have a whole warped version of how they think it should go, helping them understand women more, and then doing a process that's called systematic desensitization, which just means we have to put you through the ringer and we have to get you on dates and talking to women and socializing so we can actually train you. This is a cognitive behavioral therapy method where it trains you to be comfortable with the things that are uncomfortable.
Yep.
So that's what we put them through. And again, none of that stuff is going to work if you don't want to change, or you don't have the desire to change, or a desire to even want some sort of result in your dating life, or literally anything. This can go with anything, right?
Is there ever guys that will literally pay for a program and stuff and they will still act like that? Or do you feel like if a guy's paying, X amount of dollars, they're going to take this shit seriously?
You'd be surprised. I'm not going to lie. I've had situations over the years where guys have paid full programs to work with us. And by the way, this is rare, but it has happened. I've been doing it for a long time, so we've seen it. They'll pay, they'll do one session and then ghost. They're not asking for the money back. They don't want a refund. They're not saying this is shitty. They just come into it because they thought, well, sometimes we buy things because we think, okay, if we just buy it, it's going to help us.
Give me girls. Girls right in my lap.
And then they realize that, oh, shoot, I got to do the work. It's like paying for a gym membership and never showing up. You feel good that first day you got the gym membership. Maybe even
the first coach session, right. It feels good.
And then the motivation just starts to decline, and you just don't want to go through things. You don't want to put yourself outside your comfort zone. And so it's sad, it's like I never want that to happen, but it does. Again, it's rare, but we've seen that before.
Do you think these mental health disabilities that a lot of guys are growing up with, have you helped guys that have autism, that have, maybe even Asperger's? Have you helped guys with some of these things and it even helped them, achieve success?
We've worked with guys who have very, very mild autism, or maybe we've even worked with guys who have never been diagnosed, but maybe, I don't know,
you can kind of tell,
tell Asperger's, autism, and we've been able to help those guys. the guys who are a little bit more on the spectrum, or it's a little bit more severe, or any kind of severe mental health issues like sexual shame, depression, really intense anxiety, that it's harder to work with those guys.
You
Those
just gotta tell
guys,
them to go to a doctor
yeah,
sometimes.
we recommend go to a therapist, go to a doctor, or whatever you got to do. We just don't specialize in that because well I've tried, and with the guys who are more severe, we can get them a little bit of results, but the problem is we work with guys for anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months, and it can be a lot for a guy to do coaching with us for many
6 months.
years.
Yeah.
It's like it's not sustainable for every guy to join a program to be coached for that long, and for those guys it might take that. But plus we don't really have the specialty in working with
With
those
that stuff.
kinds of
Yeah.
people. But again, in mild cases we totally do, and
Yeah.
it can work.
In the manosphere, like they really talk a lot. They really talk down on therapy. I went to therapy for a year, so I'm like somebody that actually like. I don't think that every guy. I went to a good guy therapist, which is
I'm
rare.
curious what their answer would be.
What?
Well,
Like the guys in the manosphere?
yeah, if they're saying don't go to therapy, so what's the solution? Or maybe they're just
well, they
black pill. There
always
is no solution, right?
well, like Rolo would say that guys emote differently. So like most guys, it's good to go to the gym, like work out, do sports, like just like that's how we get our energy out or get our frustration or our sadness out, I guess. And I can kind of relate to that. But I mean, like I said, I went to therapy, so I'm the opposite of that. Like I honestly have BBD, so like I'm very like I need to go to a therapist and I like to talk and stuff. But I don't think that's good for most guys. Like, I don't think that's like a good thing for me. But like, when do you think a guy should go to therapy? Like, whenever a guy comes to you, like, whenever he has so much trauma, whenever he's just experienced too much with his family, whenever he has like the sexual, issues,
Shame, yeah.
yeah. Like, when do you tell somebody like you should probably go to therapy, bro? Like, because
I
of
tell
this.
them, I tell every single guy they should go to therapy.
Yeah.
You should
So
try it out. Does it work for every single person? I don't know. Probably not every single person.
yeah.
But I can't imagine that it would hurt. And we have a lot of guys who come to us who are already in therapy, and they've made the smart decision of going, okay, I'm in therapy right now, and I'm working on some of the inner stuff, so to speak, and some of their psychological issues. But now I also want to work with a coach that can be very specific in, okay, what's the tactical side of actually dating, which a therapist might not be able to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I do believe it's a really good complement, and also I feel like therapy is working out for the brain, right? It's a and so could being physical and gym and working out, all that good stuff. But I feel if that's not taking you all the way there, therapy could be a good solution.
Yeah. Not everybody can get it out that way. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's really good to at least try it, see if it works for you, see what's going on, and then yeah, complementing that, dating coaching is a great solution because it's more practical.
Do you have like a like who like sometimes I like on my show I kind of feel bad for the men and the women sometimes. Like I feel bad for the single men because it's really hard for them. I feel bad for the single women because they're kind of like falling into hedonism just based off their environment and just stuff around them. Who
Yeah.
do you think like really has it harder right now? Do you think the men or the women like really have it harder?
Well, in terms of dating, I think men have it harder, 100%,
Yeah.
because when it comes to dating, women are at default in abundance, right? So most women can go outside, go to a club, get approached. If that's not happening, they can absolutely get on a dating app, put up some mediocre pictures, and they can get a date in less than 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a guy, that's just not happening. So we're at default scarcity.
Yeah.
So we have to work on getting to a place of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wanted to simplify the whole dating process, it's 2 stages, right? It's we need a lot of people to date. So we need to get the people or attract the people. And then from there, stage 2, you need to filter through those people to see who's a good fit for you for a relationship or someone you want to be with. So women already have that first half covered right off the bat.
Yeah.
So guys, we have to get to that point, and then we still have more work to do because you're not going to just be with any girl who likes you, or you're going to have to filter for someone who's going to be a good fit. So
that's what scares me too. Is like these 25 once again like 25 and under guys. They really scare me because if I was growing up with Instagram or pornography, like how it is in your hand, like in their hands, you know, because I got my first iPhone at 18. I'm 32, so like I got my first iPhone at 18. I remember getting Instagram at like 21. So like it wasn't like fucking with my head at 14, 15, 16, you know. But I feel like these kids, when they get that stuff, like, you know how you like talk to some, I'm sure you talk to some of these guys that are like 2500, and they think they kind of deserve like this model, and maybe they look like a 5 or a 6, but they think they kind of like they're chasing these 8 or 9s, and it's just like, buddy, you're like down here, and like maybe once you're a millionaire, but but right now, you know, like take it down a little bit. And like sometimes I feel like a lot of them are shooting for the moon, and it's like I don't is that because of the pornography? Is that because of the Instagram? Like all seeing all these girls? Like, do you think that this is
Both.
normal? Like what? Like why are they doing that?
Probably because that's all that they're seeing,
Yeah.
right?
They think it's normal.
Their feed is just filled with that. And not only is their feed filled with it, but because it's filled with it, they are choosing to spend more time looking at these attractive women or paying for OnlyFans. And I agree, it is very accessible to be able to do that. So maybe they think like, oh, I don't know, those are the girls out there. So, okay, why can't I get one of those?
Who has most ED, you think? Of what age bracket do you think has the most ED issues right now?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I never thought about that.
I mean, it should be older if I think about it, but I think the younger guys have it. I think it is because of what they're doing, the masturbating and like all the pornography. I think it's messing with their heads. And
I bet you if we looked it up, we looked up stats, that has been an issue that is like 10x'd over the past 10 years.
Oh man,
I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and see, like I feel bad for the women because the women that are 25 and under, they're on Instagram and they're on all these apps, but they see these chiseled ass 6'4" guys and they think that's normal, and then they can get sex from that, so they're like, oh, I must be a 9 like this guy because he had sex with me, and it's like, sweetheart, those guys will have sex with anybody sometimes, you know. And it's just like I have to explain that to them on the show. It's just to me, it's just very equal. Like the girls are really delusional and stuff because they sleep with these really attractive guys and they think that means that they're really attractive.
They're also, that's interesting, that point. Plus, they're delusional because they get so much attention, right? Even an average looking girl will get 100 times more attention than an average looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
They get it on social media. They get it on the dating apps. It's insane. So they believe, it's funny because you actually can't blame them, just how it's working out. It's like they are like, wow, look at all this attention. I can get so many guys. And then what the problem is they keep thinking that as they get older. So their late 20s, 30s, 40s, they still believe that because that has been happening for a long time. So then they get older and you get to the point where, well, less men want you, but you feel deserving of it because that's what you experienced your whole life.
Yeah. Do you tell these guys to, when it comes to like the girls that they choose, are you ever specific, like you shouldn't date older women, they're going to be more traumatized, they might have damage, or you not even try to like funnel them like that? Are you just like, date whoever y'all want, like talk to everybody y'all want? Because I personally try to push guys to younger women because I've had a lot of bad experiences with older women. So like I really try to push guys to younger because I've had better experiences with younger women than older. I've met some younger women who are way more mature than the older ones I've been with. Like my girl's 23 and I definitely see her as way more mature as some 30-year-olds that I know, you know?
Yeah, I don't really push any agenda. I don't tell people you should get married, you should just be single. I don't tell guys you should go for these kinds of women. I'm here to give you the skill set, and you do whatever you want.
Pick what you want.
Pick what you want.
Yeah.
The one thing I do say is when it comes to the age, is I just kind of warn them. It's like, warning, just know, if you're dating someone that's in another generation, we'll say, what is that, like 7 to 10 years older or younger, experience this for yourself if you'd like. It's going to be harder to connect. I'm not saying it's not possible. I know a lot of relationships where there's a major age gap, but it's more difficult. I would say that anecdotally, but I also know that from other people who have done it. And so it just might be a little bit easier, if you want it to be a little bit easier, to date someone who's going to be a little bit closer in age to you in any direction. But then again, really, I don't care. You'll figure that out for yourself.
Oh yeah.
If you're like, I like older women, and you want to do that, where like my preference wouldn't want to be with a woman who's 10 years older, well, you'll figure that out for yourself.
Yeah,
maybe you'll love it. Good for you. Go for the MILFs.
I definitely think that there's like there's another one, babe. But I definitely think that there's like another layer to that nobody ever wants to talk about, but I really believe in is like there's a difference between the Leonardo DiCaprio dating down and like so like you were saying, with that generational difference. I've always dated girls in the same bracket age as like my girl. So like like every one of my relationships, she was all like the girl I always dated was about 20, in between 21 to like
How
22.
old is your girlfriend?
Right now she's 23.
20. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So,
okay.
but I've always dated somebody like I always meet girls at 21 to like 23.
Oh,
like
so,
I've
so
never
you're an
dated.
example of exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't hard for you to connect.
No, so but the reason why is because I've always dated girls in her
Yeah.
in her age bracket. So like her culture, like since I've always dated girls younger than me, I've always been connected with that culture of whatever girl I was with because I'm listening to her music, I'm watching what she's watching, like like she shows me TikToks that's cool or trending at the time. So like I've always felt like I've had full connection to the younger generation because I'm always dating somebody from that younger generation. I'm always like seeing what they're doing. I always know their lingo. I'm always way more advanced than my millennial brothers that I know and shit. Like I'm always like know way more about all that shit.
You're well versed culturally.
Yes, I am because of it. But it's also a part of a goal of mine. Like I love music from all different genres. I have a lot of mentors that are way older than me, so I know older stuff too because like I like the older shit. My dad was a DJ for years, so I loved a lot of different genres of music. But so like I'm very diverse when it comes to all those things. But there's a difference between the Leonardo DiCaprio and the guy that's 35 or 40 and he's getting his first girlfriend that's a 22-year-old. That's weird to me because if you're 35, 40 and you're finally getting your first relationship, like your whole friend group is like, oh, wow, Joe, you finally got your first girlfriend and she's a 22-year-old. That's weird to me. But if you like your Leonardo DiCaprio.
Why is that weird?
The reason why is because like if you're like Leonardo DiCaprio and you've always dated younger women, it's something that you've always done. You've always naturally been into these younger women. So
you're saying for that guy who's just now
he did it because that was the only thing he could get. That's what I don't like. I don't like a 35, 40-year-old finally settling for the 22-year-old because that's finally the first girl that was allowed him to have a relationship with him.
I mean, I can even say that with any woman, right? It's like there are guys who are getting their first girlfriends, and maybe she's not significantly younger than him, but maybe has other issues where you're like, dude, like you went with that girl, like this girl's a little bit of a mess, or seems a little nutty, or something's going on. It's like, oh, that's right, this is your first girlfriend, so you just got into something fast because you settled, and the settling can go in so many different directions, right?
Yeah, but that's what it scares me about. I don't know. I just think of that guy, like I said, the guy who shows up at his friend's party and everybody looks around at him like, you're dating this 22-year-old and you've never had a girlfriend for 20 years. Like this is, I don't know. To me, that would just be kind of weird. I just wouldn't want to be that guy personally. I understand Leonardo DiCaprio's thing. I just wanted to like bring that up.
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio is doing what he can do because he can.
Yeah, dude, he's a top G in a way. A lot of people don't like him, but I just think that what he's doing is natural to him. Honestly.
I just think it's funny that people complain about it. And I made a whole YouTube video on this about basically talking about that women find it so creepy that he's doing that, and there's a power dynamic that hurts the girl and hurts the relationship, and I'm just like, I think all that's nonsense. I think everyone knows exactly what's going on. They know what they're getting into, and that's the deal. And why are we even still talking about this or surprised by this?
Yeah, there's no reason in ever debating it. It's literally what women naturally want, and it's what guys naturally want.
Exactly.
And the quicker we just accept that, the quicker we don't even have to debate it anymore.
Right.
It's really. Did you see the statistic that 33% of women from 18 to 29 are in a relationship, and 64% of men are? Like in that same age bracket. So basically all the women were dating up. Like basically that meant that like basically what that stat meant was that all the women must have been dating guys that were above 30 because 64% of guys were single that were in the same age bracket.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like, what are those 30% of women? They must be dating up or something.
Because those guys are usually guys who are showing signs that they can provide. Right. And that's what happens when a guy gets older. He has a little bit more status. He has more money. He's more confident. He's more comfortable. He's found himself a little bit. And women are going to be attracted to that guy. What do they say in the manosphere? Women are waiting at the finish line.
Yeah. They want to wait at the finish line for the guy.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? There was one last thing I can't remember.
You'll get it. You'll get it. It will come back in 10 seconds.
It never does.
Got a super chat, though.
No, honestly, I smoked too much pot. What's up, Eric? Go ahead. Click that $5. What are some red pill talking points that you really dislike? Is there any that you kind of disagree with?
I'm not as versed, so maybe spit some out, and I can tell you. that I dislike.
Hypergamy.
No, that's good. I believe in that.
Uh,
I agree with most of
Guys
that.
shouldn't have girlfriends.
Yes.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Yeah, I do. I think that it's perfectly fine to have a girlfriend, but you have to know what you're doing. It's interesting. I guess you can maybe consider me purple pill in the sense where it's like, yeah, relationships are fine, marriages are fine. However, on more the red pill side, understand the reality of nature, understand the risk involved, and know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that people just don't understand. Red pill is it's just like relationships are okay. You just need to understand the risk, and the whole point of red pill is to lay out the risk. It's to lay out, what
Yeah,
it is,
and
so then you don't have to worry about.
understand female nature. I think that's one of the biggest things. And once you understand female nature, then you have an advantage.
Yeah.
But the opposite of that, like I guess if you want to call it blue pill blue pill is not we'll say giving into or agreeing with the fact that women and men are different in certain ways.
Okay. No, I really think he's very red pill, Eric. Like I would say he's actually like a very red pill dating coach.
More than most would think. I just don't talk about it too much.
Yeah, he just doesn't talk about it. But yeah, he's very red pill, bro. But no, guys, we're probably gonna close this one out. We got the lady show coming up here in like 15, 20 minutes for y'all guys. But yeah, we got Red Pill Crip in the house. It's gonna be a really, really good show, guys. It's gonna be really fun. But yeah, we will see y'all here probably in a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and plug in your stuff really quick though, so they can find you again.
Yeah, sounds good. Which camera should I talk into?
You talk to that one. Right
okay, there. Number 3, right here. First of all, I should say, anything out of a styrofoam cup always tastes that much better.
Really?
No, not at all. Okay, I'm kidding around. Yeah, if you need help with dating, if you are struggling with dating in any way, and you're someone who wants to actually get results, I do have many options for you. Some of the free options are you can check out my YouTube channel, Trip Advice. You can check out my podcast called How to Talk to Girls, which is available on any of the podcast platforms. If you want to take it to the next level and you want to get more help that really guides you, I do have a course called Hooked. You can check that out at getherhooked.com. It's a 10-hour video course that teaches you my entire proprietary method called TED, which is my formula for attraction and how to meet more women and how to build attraction with the women that you like. Even if you're a guy who feels you're not attractive, we'll teach you how to do that through that course. And if you want even more help and you just want to get really fast results, I have coaches on staff that will work with you one-on-one, hands-on, to help you with everything on your dating profile, help you with approaching women, and help you specifically and customize any help for you to be able to meet the women that you want and have a dating life where you can do whatever you want with. You want to get married? Great. You want to have a girlfriend? Great. You want to just sleep around and have fun? Great. We help you do that and we give you the skills. So those are the options. And if you want to learn more about coaching, you can go to tripadvicecoaching.com.
Guys, this is one of the greatest coaches out there right now. Y'all need to, especially since he's partially red pilled, y'all really, especially like I know most of y'all watching are mostly red pill guys. Y'all really have no idea how big of a deal it is for y'all to get into relationships, guys, or at least start practicing them. So you need to definitely go check him out. Like if y'all need any advice, this is the person who I literally go to for most of my advice right now on how to do my own coaching program better. He's one of the best out there. So yeah, guys, please go click his shit up. I appreciate you for coming, bro.
Thanks, man.
You're definitely I'm inspired by everybody in the manosphere and a lot of people online and stuff, but there's very few people that I believe in standing on the shoulders of giants. You're one of the giants that I have to stand on the shoulders of, bro, because you're amazing at what you do. Thank you. I really appreciate you, man. I really hope that if you're ever back in Dallas again, you're going to come right back on this show again.
Dude,
bro.
100%. Yeah. I'm going to say, you're a great interviewer. I love what you're doing. It's amazing how much you're growing right now. And when I saw your stuff, I was like, this guy's going to be a superstar one day. And I was happy to come on and talk to you. So thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you, bro. This was a fire show, man. But yeah, guys, we will see y'all. We got another night show, coming up here in like 15, 20 minutes. So we'll see y'all here in a little bit with Red Pill Crip. But yeah, thank you, bro, again. We will see y'all later, guys. Peace out.